Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Puri Rajakacharya Ashtotar Satashri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mayi Ki Jai Jamuna Mayi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami and friends. Maharaj had told me he's off to another engagement with Yogeshwar Prabhu, something dealing on the subject of science. And I said, Maharaj, take us along for a field trip. And he didn't reply. So he must not have thought it was a very good idea. But he wanted us to carry on nonetheless, as we usually do in his absence. I'm especially eager to hear from everyone else who would like to read and comment today, since I shouldn't be the one doing it all. And I certainly don't have that much to say anyway. So glad you're all here. And I'm thinking perhaps some of the members of this Sangha mistakenly thought that there wouldn't be class tonight for some reason, because we did talk about changing the schedule. Next week, we'll be starting the new schedule, which will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Srimad Bhagavatam, Thursday, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then Friday is free for programs of whatever nature may arise, such as Harinams or science or whatever you might like to do. So, confirmed. It is Friday, March 28th, 2025 in New York. And we're starting tonight, according to my notes, with 4th Canto, Chapter 12, text number 37. It looked like we had finished 36 last time. Hare Krishna. So please let me know in the chat or however you like, if you'd like to read and comment tonight. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So text 37. Shanta Samadrisha Shuddha Sarva Bhuta Nuranjanaha Yantyanja Padam Achuta Priyabandavaha. Persons who are peaceful, equipoised, cleansed, and purified, and who know the art of pleasing all other living entities, keep friendship only with devotees of the Lord. They alone can very easily achieve the perfection of going back home, back to Godhead. The description of this verse fully indicates that only devotees are eligible to enter into the kingdom of Godhead. The first point stated is that devotees are peaceful, for they have no demands for their personal sense gratification. They are simply dedicated to the service of the Lord. Karmis cannot be peaceful because they have immense demands for sense gratification. As for jnanis, they cannot be peaceful because they are too busy trying to attain liberation or merge into the existence of the Supreme. Similarly, yogis are also restless to get mystic power. But a devotee is peaceful because he is fully surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thinks of himself as completely helpless. Just as a child feels complete peace in depending on the parent, so a devotee is completely peaceful, for he depends on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee is equipoised. He sees everyone on the same transcendental platform. A devotee knows that although a conditioned soul has a particular type of body according to his past fruitive activities, factually everyone is part of the Supreme Lord. A devotee sees all living entities with spiritual vision and does not discriminate on the platform of the bodily concept of life. Such qualities develop only in the association of devotees. Without the association of devotees, one cannot advance in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, we have established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Factually, whoever lives in this society automatically develops Krishna consciousness. Devotees are dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is only dear to devotees. On this platform only can one make progress in Krishna consciousness. Persons in Krishna consciousness, or devotees of the Lord, can please everyone, as is evident in the Krishna consciousness movement, We invite everyone without discrimination. We request everyone to sit down and chant the Hare Krishna mantra and take as much prasad as we can supply, and thus everyone is pleased with us. This is the qualification. Sarva bhutanuranjanaha. As for purification, no one can be more pure than devotees. Anyone who once utters the name of Vishnu becomes immediately purified inside and outside. Yasmaret pundarikaksham. Since a devotee constantly chants the Hare Krishna mantra, no contamination of the material world can touch him. He is therefore actually purified. Muchi hoy, shuchi hoy, yadi Krishna bhaje. It is said that even a cobbler or a person born in the family of a cobbler can be elevated to the position of a brahmana, shuchi, if he takes to Krishna consciousness. Any person who is purely Krishna conscious and who engages in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is the purest in the whole universe. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangs Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This verse is spoken by Maitreya Muni. He's giving his narration of the activities of Dhruva Maharaj as he goes back to Godhead. And now it seems that he's pausing and narrating the action and offering a bit of reflection. He's visualizing, relating the story to Vidura. And here he's talking about what's going on from his perspective and why it's going on. He's explaining that Dhruva has this and that good quality. We'll go back and read the previous verse, which this today's verse builds from. The self-effulgent Vaikuntha planets, by whose illumination alone all the illuminating planets within this material world give off reflected light, cannot be reached by those who are not merciful to other living entities. Only persons who constantly engage in welfare activities for other living entities can reach the Vaikuntha planets. So he's not simply relating the action as it unfolds, but he's essentially giving Vidura a Bhagavatam class. He's saying this is why this is happening. And Dhruva Maharaj has these qualities that he's talking about here, merciful to other living entities, except for a few yakshas, but we'll forget about that for the moment. Peaceful, equipoised, cleansed, and purified. And Prabhupada begins with that very point, peaceful. He says that the devotees are peaceful for they have no demands for their personal sense gratification. And you can ponder the meaning of that statement, that, of course, conversely, those who have demands for their personal sense gratification are not peaceful. And this is, as we see, is the cause of most conflicts in relationships, or people are not getting what they want and they're angry. My needs are not being met. My desires are not being fulfilled. Therefore, we're not peaceful. And then Prabhupada goes through and says the karmis aren't peaceful. They have immense demands for sense gratification. And then he says the jnanis are always busy trying to get liberation or merge. They can't be peaceful. The yogis, what does he say? They're restless to get mystic power. Um, Krishna bhakti nishkama ata eva shanta bhukti mukti siddhi kami at sakale ashanta. Everybody else but devotees is not peaceful because they're in it for themselves, essentially. It's a question of self-perception. Prabhupada points out because a devotee is peaceful because he is fully surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thinks of himself as completely helpless. So it's a matter of self-perception. If we think of ourselves as, very capable, smart, get stuff done, we can fulfill our own desires, thank you very much. And when those desires are not fulfilled, we'll be angry. And of course, the ultimate target of our anger is Krishna, because especially from the point of view of somebody with a karmi, pure, I want to say karmi in the pure sense of the word, we believe that the function of the Lord is to gratify our senses ultimately. We're not fully surrendered, therefore we're not fully peaceful. He gives the example of a child being completely dependent on the parent. So if that's our point of view, then we can be peaceful. Otherwise, not. Prabhupada makes another point that I liked very much later on in the purport, talking about how, yes, we invite everyone without discrimination. We request everyone to sit down and chant the Hare Krishna mantra and take as much prasad as we can supply, and thus everyone is pleased with us. Yes, those who do so would certainly be pleased, as we all have had experience. Who would not be pleased chanting nice kirtan and having nice prasadam? And I guess people not in that category, people that aren't willing to do it, essentially. And this also is this verse and purport, I find it to be a very helpful barometer for our own Krishna consciousness. Like Prabhupada said, you don't need to get a university degree to tell you if you're becoming Krishna consciousness. All you need to know is, are your material desires increasing or decreasing? Are your demands becoming more or less immense? Because if they're becoming more immense, then maybe you're doing something wrong, or you need to address the particulars of the practice. But if they're becoming less immense, then maybe you're doing something right, taking sufficient prasad, chanting Hare Krishna sufficiently, etc. Murari Gupta Prabhu says, Hare Krishna Akender Prabhu, the Christians use the term the kingdom of God. Have you ever heard about or read Srila Prabhupada's opinion on where Christians go if they are successful? One thing does come to mind, and this may not very specifically or certainly not in detail answer your question, but I've heard him say several times in regard to following Jesus that if they actually follow Jesus, Jesus is their guru, so they go where Jesus is, wherever that may be. I haven't heard him address whether they go to any kingdom of God or heaven. I could look that up and see what I might uncover in that regard, but yeah, I don't. Maybe someone else in the Sangha would like to offer more on that than I can. Yeah. Mostly what you see with Prabhupada dealing um, with some of the Christians that he came into contact with was that he was disappointed when he found that they weren't actually even following the tenets of their own faith. In other words, how can you expect to get to the kingdom of God if you're killing animals when it says thou shalt not kill, etc., etc.? So you can't expect success if you're not even following your own path. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Anything else here? I think I've said all I can say. Certainly happy to hear from others. I should post verses so that I know exactly where we're going to pick up on Monday. If you can bear with me for a moment, I'll do that. And then I would like to ask Saraswati Mata if she'd like to read our text number 38.
Hare Krishna, pranams to all. Yes, text 38. Iti utpan padaha putro dhruva krishna paranayaha abhutatranaya lokanam chudamanir ivamalaha. A translation. In this way, the fully Krishna conscious Dhruva Maharaja, the exalted son of Maharaja Uttanapada, attained the summit of the three statuses of planetary system. Purport. The exact Sanskrit terminology for Krishna consciousness is here mentioned. Krishna Parayanaha. Parayana means going forward. Anyone who is going forward to the goal of Krishna is called Krishna Parayana, or fully Krishna conscious. The example of Dhruva Maharaja indicates that every Krishna conscious person can expect to reach the topmost summit of all three planetary systems within the universe. A Krishna conscious person can occupy an exalted position beyond the imagination of any ambitious materialist. Om Gyanantimirindasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. It's quite clear that Dhruva Maharaja obtained an exalted position beyond the imagination of any materialist. In fact, he gained rulership over Dhruvalok, which is considered a spiritual planet situated within the material universe. And similar to the spiritual planets, there is no birth, death, old age, and disease for the residents on Dhruvalok. And where it indicates that a Krishna conscious person, he can penetrate all the layers that we find covering the material universe and enter into the spiritual realm. I'm just trying to remember some of what I had learned when I sat on the Goloka chart and all the different planets situated in the material creation. And I'm trying to think of Dhruvaloka because Dhruvaloka is situated, although it's situated below the four topmost planets, Brahmaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, and Maharloka, the fact is that it holds all the other planets in place using, it's like a chandelier, and it holds all these other planets in place with the string or ropes of air, Vayu. And all the other, we're going to probably read a little bit more in the next verse, but all the other planets circle Dhruvaloka. And Dhruva means constant. So it's constantly there holding all these other planets and grahas in place. Here it says it's only a Krishna conscious person that can hope to penetrate all the material layers and finally reach the spiritual world. I'm just thinking also that, especially for Kali Yuga, Srila Prabhupada, following in the line of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Parampara, has made things so much suitable for anyone to progress in the path of bhakti. Today I came across something that Srinivasacharya said. He said, Krishnot Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro. All the followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, they demonstrated this path, chanting, dancing, distribution of transcendental knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada set all of this up for ISKCON, starting at the Mangala Arati all the way till evening. Everyone can follow this path, and progress. I personally find that for myself, I'm sort of stuck in this anartha nivritti stage. It's just really hard, I can personally say, for me to get beyond this, because there are still things that distract me, and I still definitely have to become more disciplined and more serious and rein in these thoughts that are sort of pulling me away from becoming completely focused in Krishna consciousness. And sometimes these could be various relationships that that can distract you from being very, very serious. So I know for myself, I require all the mercy of the Vaishnavas, so that I'm not just always stuck on this anartha nivritti stage and, cannot really hope to get beyond it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Lakshmana Mataji comments, for the Christians, especially the Catholic Christians, the heaven is the top place where God lives. Yes, thank you. Nice to hear from you, Lakshmana Mataji. Hare Krishna. And thank you, Saraswati Mata. I was going to suggest that you read 39, since they kind of go together and they're both quite short. Would you like to read another one?
Okay. Gambhira vega nimisham jyotisham chakramahitam yashmin brahmati karovaya madhyam isha gavam ganaha. Saint Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, descendant of Guru, as a herd of bulls circumambulates a central pole on their right side, all the luminaries within the universal sky unceasingly circumambulate the abode of Dhruva Maharaja with great force and speed. Purport: Each and every planet within the universe travels at a very high speed. From a statement in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that even the sun travels 16,000 miles in a second, and from Brahma Samhita we understand from the shloka Yat Chakshurisha Savita Sakala Grahanam that the sun is considered to be the eye of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, and it also has a specific orbit within which it circles. Similarly, all other planets have their specific orbits, but together all of them encircle the pole star or Dhruvaloka, where Dhruva Maharaja is situated at the summit of the three worlds. We can only imagine how highly exalted the actual position of a devotee is, and certainly we cannot even conceive how exalted is the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I think I spoke a little about Dhruvaloka and what makes it very, very special. And of course we know in the Rig Veda how the sun is considered the eye. That's why it said Surya Narayan. And of course in our Achman for deity worship we always recite Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashayanti Surya. And from what I can recall, Dhruva Maharaja's uncle Priyavrata is going to be, we're going to learn, called upon to give up the renounced order that the situation of renunciation that he's taken. He's not married or anything, and Lord Brahma is going to ask him, in fact, to become a grahastha. And from what I recall, he also becomes a ruler of Bhuloka and is extremely powerful, because from what I remember, he has a chariot with one wheel that follows the rotation that the sun takes. And it said that the wheel creates this impressions, 7 impressions that subsequently become the 7 oceans in Bhuloka. So we can just imagine how powerful Dhruva Maharaj's uncle King Priyavrata also is, due to his advancement in Krishna consciousness. I think that's all the comments that I have for now. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. I want to look and see if there are some commentaries from Srila Vishwanath that we might be able to look at. Hadn't opened that document yet, So just a moment here. Chapter 12. Seems we're getting close to the end. So 37. I'll just read the way the verses are rendered so that we might get a different angle of vision on it. The friends of the Lord, those who are peaceful, I'm reading 37 now, seeing all things equally, pure and pleasing to all beings, easily go to the Lord's abode. And 38, thus pure Dhruva, son of Uttanapada, who was surrendered to Krishna, was the crest jewel of the three planetary systems. And now text 39, O Vidura, around him the zodiac belt with planets and stars circles incessantly like a herd of bulls going around a central pillar with great speed. Short commentary here, interesting. Time is always awake. Thus the planets circle incessantly. Great speed modifies the herd of bulls. Hare Krishna. Yes, and there's a footnote here. I'm not sure where it's from, but he says here that Dhruvaloka is situated above the sun, but below Maharloka. And he says to see the commentary on Bhagavatam, fifth canto, chapter 23, verse 9 for details. So I might have to take some time to find that commentary, but that's interesting. Dhruvaloka is situated above the sun, but below Maharloka. It will be very, very interesting to see this temple of the Vedic planetarium finally take shape in the form of this, the actual the planetarium aspect of it, showing how the universe is laid out. Hare Krishna. I saw Venkatesh Prabhu is here. Happy to see him. And wanted to know if he could read 40 and 41. That would be great. We have a hand up from Saraswati Mata. Please go ahead.
Just wondering, I have a picture of how where Dhruvaloka is in relationship to other planets. Would you like me to send that to you? Just to give you a visual. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you. Krishna, Krishna.
Perhaps we can proceed until I find it, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I see Venkatesh Prabhu is plugging in his trusty headset. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Just letting you know, Prabhu, we can't quite hear you yet, but we are looking forward to it. Volume is quite low. There we go. Now I think we can hear you.
Could you put
Hare
the
Krishna, Prabhu.
chat into the chat, please?
Oh, you want the verse in the chat?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do that.
A link will.
Oh, a link, yeah, okay. Just a moment. Dun-dun-dun. Copy link. Okay, so we are on text 40. There's the link for that.
Yes. Yes, so this is verse 40. Vahivada vilokasya विलोक्यस्य दारजो भगवान् ऋषि आतोद्यं वितुदं श्लोकान् सत्रे गायत् प्रचेतसा. After observing the glories of Dhruva Maharaj, the great sage Narad, playing his veena, went to the sacrificial arena of the Prachetas and very happily chanted the following three verses. The great sage Narada was a special master of Dhruva Maharaj. Certainly he was very glad to see Dhruva's glories. As a father is very happy to see the son's advancement in every respect, so the special master is very happy to observe the ascendancy of his disciple. This is amazing that वगैरह चल रहे हैं 11 section with the So here Dhruva Maharaj going back to audit, I think somehow by their own technology it was already known to very people around the world, especially the advanced souls. They come to know what is going on there in the universe by by the blessings of the Lord, maybe through the idiom of Paramatma. They did not wait for some efficient technologies um, like some internet broadcast or WhatsApp or Instagram updates for getting any universe updates from the universal affairs. So further, we can see how Prabhupada is saying that the spiritual master is very happy to see uh, his disciple being advanced in spiritual life. So, spiritual master is like a father. Ideally, a father is very happy to see son's advancement in any affair, in material or spiritual. So, a father will be generally happy to see the son advance. And not just that, Narada was happy. He even went to the sacrificial arena of the Prachetas and he was singing the glories of his disciple. So that is the extent to which uh, we can see a spiritual master will be happy to glorify his disciple. Not only that, the disciple glorifies the spiritual master can also glorify the disciple. I think there are instances of Prabhupada also glorifying his disciples. Maybe some devotees can share any such, we can say, instances where Prabhupada glorified his disciples. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. I'm trying to think. No specific instances come to mind right now. But yes, that was a fact. I found it interesting here also that Narada was very pleased and proud of his disciple, Dhruva. And right away, he went to broadcast this pride and this pleasure. He didn't just keep it to himself or say, give Dhruva a thumbs up, but immediately he made it public knowledge wherever he went. And he'll continue in the next verses. In fact, could you read our text 41?
Yes, I can read. Thank you. So, okay. So, Narada Uvacha, text 41. Narada Uvacha, Dudupsilite Patidevatasya Tayas Tapapranavasya Sutasya Togati Drishpavya Ayat Apived Varido Devadhi Gantu Prabhavanti Kiprapa. Translation: The great sage Narada said, simply by the influence of his spiritual advancement and of austerity, Dhruv Maharaj, the son of Suniti, who was devoted to her husband, acquired an exalted position not possible to attain, even for the so-called Vedantists or strict followers of Vedic principles, not to speak of ordinary human beings. Purport. In this verse, the word Vedavadina is very significant. Generally, a person who strictly follows the Vedic principle is called Vedavadi. There are so-called Vedantists who advertise themselves as followers of Vedanta philosophy, but who misinterpret Vedanta. The expression Vedavadarata is also found in the Bhagavad Gita, referring to persons who are attached to Vedas without understanding the purport of the Vedas. Such persons may go on talking about Vedas or may execute austerities in their own way, but it is not possible for them to attain such an exalted position as Dhruv Maharaj. As far as ordinary kings are concerned, that is not at all possible. The specific mention of kings is significant because formally kings were also Rajarishis, or the kings were as good as sages. Dhruv Maharaj was a king, at the same time he was learned as a sage, but without devotional service, neither a great king, Kshatriya, nor a Brahmana, strictly adhering to Vedic principles, can be elevated to the exalted position attained by Dhruv Maharaj. Wow. So here Prabhupada has focused on the word Vedavadina and connected it to its mention in Bhagavad Gita as well, which is Vedavadarata. I think this also comes with Ishopanishad. I was attending some Bhakti Shastra class and they mentioned the same word, Vedavadarata. So they are ritualistic followers of the Vedas. So they just try to follow the Vedas, or we can say in general, there are people who just try to follow the word of the law, but they don't understand the intent of the law. Uh, I was hearing one example from Radheshyam that he would say in India there is a way of producing cloth known as khadi. Khadi is a handmade cloth, not machine made. So handmade cloth can support weavers. So the idea was that there was a propaganda that let us buy only khadi cloth. But then one person he imported some khadi cloth. It was foreign made cloth, but it was handmade. So then the thing is that he followed the law wearing khadi, but then he didn't understand that what is the what is the reason behind wearing khadi. It was to support the local market, but he's supporting the foreign market. So here there are similarly followers of religion who also follow the word, but they don't do the intent. So for them, as purpose is here, it is not possible for them to attain such an exalted position. Also, Prabhupada focus on the word Rajarishis, the saintly kings. This mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also how the knowledge was given to such Rajarishis and that disciplic succession was there all the way. Uh, and then the kings would be as good as sages because they had that knowledge. Generally, if we see current in the modern day, the king means like you say a politician. So politicians, if they are well versed in principles of leadership, ideal leadership principles, so that they can be also like a great sage. Uh, yeah, currently we have in India almost like a Rajarishi who actually supports the true, you can say, principles for upliftment of humanity too. more or less some extent. So therefore, supporting his Kumbh Mela and various other events for spiritual advancement. So, and also building the Ram Temple and similar other things. And not just that, even internationally, the cooperation with other countries for greater good of humanity. So these are some ideal characteristics of leaders, uh, particularly those ruling nations and you can say a group of nations. So then Prabhupada even mentions that Lord Brahmana strictly adhering to Vedic principles can be elevated to such a position exalted by Dhruv Maharaj. So it was all by the grace of Narada Muni, his spiritual master, the highly advanced. Uh, he is a devotee of the Lord, so he was able to do that. Even impossible becomes possible by uh, by descending mercy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Should I read further? Did you say or someone else can?
Well, while you were speaking and commenting on that verse, Saraswati Mata was sharing her screen with the map of the universe. So we were seeing the various elephants supporting the posts, serving as the support for Bhumandala and the strata of the planetary systems going up and going down. And we saw the position of Dhruva Loka as described in the Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary above the sun, below Maharloka. So thank you for that. Where was that picture from, Mataji?
Muted, you're muted.
That was posted from the Goloka chart series of classes. It's on YouTube.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Goloka chart. I should have to go there. You quote it so frequently. It seems like certainly a place worth going. We're looking at text number 42. Let's see if Srila Vishwanath has anything to say on 41. Yes, he does. I'll read 40 and 41. Seeing the glories of Dhruva, Narada, playing on his veena, sang verses in the sacrificial arena of the Prachetas. And then Narada said, followers of the Vedas, what to speak of kings, seeing the goal attained by chaste Suniti's son, who is severe austerity incarnate, could not obtain the method by which he attained the goal, what to speak of the attainment. And then his commentary reads thus. Dhruva was the personification of severe austerities. Even on seeing his attainment, sages, what to speak of kings, could not attain the esoteric practice for that attainment, what to speak of the attainment itself. In other words, they couldn't do what he did, and they couldn't get what he got. So many helpful points there. This devotional service was, of course, executed under the direction of a great sage, Narada. Actually, I just read that from the text 42, which is kind of long, actually, but I'll read it. I'll read text number 42, and then we can have kirtan. Ya panchavarsho guru daravak sharayar binena yato hridayena duyata vanang mad adesha karo jitang prabhum jigaya tad bhakta gunai parajitam. The great sage Narada continued, just see how Dhruva Maharaj, aggrieved at the harsh words of his stepmother, went to the forest at the age of only 5 years, and under my direction underwent austerity. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unconquerable, Dhruva Maharaj defeated him with the specific qualifications possessed by the Lord's devotees. The Supreme Godhead is unconquerable. No one can conquer the Lord, but he voluntarily accepts subordination to the devotional qualities of his devotees. For example, Lord Krishna accepted subordination to the control of Mother Yashoda because she was a great devotee. The Lord likes to be under the control of his devotees. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that everyone comes before the Lord and offers him exalted prayers, but the Lord does not feel as pleased when offered such prayers as he does when a devotee, out of pure love, chastises him as a subordinate. The Lord forgets his exalted position and willingly submits to his pure devotee. Dhruva Maharaj conquered the Supreme Lord because at a very tender age, only 5 years old, he underwent all the austerities of devotional service. This devotional service was, of course, executed under the direction of a great sage, Narada. This is the first principle of devotional service, Ado Gurvashrayam. In the beginning, one must accept a bona fide spiritual master, and if a devotee follows strictly the direction of the spiritual master, as Dhruva Maharaj followed the instruction of Narad Muni, then it is not difficult for him to achieve the favor of the Lord. The sum total of devotional qualities is development of unalloyed love for Krishna. This unalloyed love for Krishna can be achieved simply by hearing about Krishna. Lord Chaitanya accepted this principle that if one in any position submissively hears the transcendental message spoken by Krishna or about Krishna, then gradually he develops the quality of unalloyed love. And by that love only, he can conquer the unconquerable. The Mayavadi philosophers aspire to become one with the Supreme Lord, but a devotee surpasses that position. Not only does a devotee become one in quality with the Supreme Lord, but he sometimes becomes the father, mother, or master of the Lord. Arjuna also, by his devotional service, made Lord Krishna his chariot driver. He ordered the Lord, "Put my chariot here," and the Lord executed his order. These are some examples of how a devotee can acquire the exalted position of conquering the unconquerable. And Srila Vishwanath's take on the verses, when 5 years old, he went to the forest because his heart was burned, pierced by the sharp words of his stepmother. And following my instructions, he conquered the unconquerable Lord, who is conquered by the qualities of his devotees. Just see the personality of Krishna. He does not feel as pleased when offered such prayers as he does when a devotee, out of pure love, chastises him as a subordinate. The Lord forgets his exalted position and willingly submits to his pure devotee. This reminds me, when I was a young boy, very young, very small, my father would sometimes wrestle with me, and he would allow me to beat him. He was a very stocky, burly fellow, and it gave me great pleasure as a 5-year-old or 4-year-old kid to defeat my father in wrestling. And I think he liked it too. I always wanted to do that. But apparently Krishna has this characteristic as well, to a supreme degree. When pure love is involved, he's conquered by the love. Hare Krishna. Let me get out of this window and see. Oh, yes. Venkatesh Prabhu says, Saraswati Mata, can you please try to share the Goloka chart on the chat? So the Goloka chart is more than just that visual that you showed us, if I'm correct. If you can share it with us somehow so that we can also take advantage of that information. you speak about it so frequently.
I did share that same picture. I hope.
Yeah. But is it like a series of lectures that is known as the Goloka chart rather than just that single graphic image?
Yeah, there's lots of graphic images, but the class itself, there's like 14 classes, 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe if you have anyway, we can look it up on YouTube, I guess. Yes. All right. All right. Hare Krishna. Getting close to the top of the hour. Krishna Kanteya Prabhu, would you like to lead us in kirtan, closing out this hour this week?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nita Gaur Premanande Hare Bo, Dhaman Vishnu Vidaya, Krishna Vistaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine, Jai Sri Guru Anguranga, all glories to some of the devotees, all glories to some of the devotees, all glories to some of the devotees, Jai Sri Guru Anguranga, Jayadvaita Swami Ki Jai.
Jai Jai. Thank you, Krishna Konte Prabhu. Thank you all for being here. Hope you all have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you all and Maharaj on Monday. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj and friends Ki Jai. Samavita Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you much, everyone, for your association. Jai Jai Jai. Hare Krishna.